Hello students, my next lecture is on Friedrich adsorption isotherm. Adsorption, we have already told you, adsorption of gases on solids. So what we are doing, gas is a adsorbate and we have an adsorbent which is maybe charcoal. Now Friedrich studied the adsorption of gases. Friedrich studied the extent of adsorption of gases, which is my adsorbate, on adsorbent which is our solid, for example charcoal versus pressure at constant temperature. What he did, he was doing experiments in which he studied the amount or the extent of adsorption of the gas. If X is the amount of gas adsorbed and M is the mass of adsorbent, this is our adsorbate. What he did, he made graphs of X by M versus pressure. Graphs of X by M versus pressure. He made graphs of X by M versus pressure at constant temperature. And what he found, what is the nature of the graph he is obtaining? This is our X by M, the extent of the adsorption or the adsorption of the adsorbate per unit adsorbent, per gram of the adsorbent. And here is my pressure, and he got experimentally a graph which looked like this. What he is getting, this is called adsorption, Friedrich adsorption isotherm. This is our Friedrich adsorption isotherm. That means at constant temperature, the extent of adsorption versus pressure. And he gave an empirical relationship which is called the Friedrich equation in order to explain this graph. X by M is equal to some constant P power 1 by N, where 1 by N can have value from 0 to 1. Where 1 by N can take values from 0 to 1. So 1 by N is the power of the P and its value can be 0 to 1, and this equation is called Friedrich adsorption isotherm equation. How will we explain this graph? So you can see that there are three regions of the graph, and this looks to be linear. Low pressure, this is my low pressure region, and you can see that there is a moderate pressure, and after this you can see what we are coming, high pressure zone. So the graph has got three sides: low pressure, moderate pressure, and high pressure. At high pressure, what happens? The pressure becomes constant. You can see that at very high pressure the graph is becoming horizontal. There is no increase in extent of adsorption at high pressure. So how will we explain this? As we have given this graph, let us see what we are trying to say. The Friedrich adsorption isotherm is X by M is equal to K P power 1 by N. At low pressure, pressure is very, very low. So when pressure is very, very low, what happens? That we are seeing a straight line here, or we can say that the k x by m is equal to k p power 1. So the x by m is proportional to the pressure. So at low pressure we are getting this value, which is a straight line as you can see here. At moderate pressure you are getting x by m is equal to k p power 1 by n. This n can have value from n, 1 by n can have value from 0 to 1. So at very high pressure, what is happening? When the pressure becomes very large, what is the result? We get a saturated pressure. There is no more increase in the pressure when it becomes very high. So what is happening? That 1 by n becomes equal to 0 at very high pressure. And what will be the equation, students? What will be the equation then? We are saying x by m is equal to k p power 0. So x by m becomes a constant and now does not depend on pressure. In fact, the experiments were performed, and we can say that he was able to explain at low and moderate pressure and at high pressure, the formula or this equation failed. Fredolic equation failed. The adsorption did not work at very high pressure in the case of the Fredolic adsorption isotherm, which we have shown here. Now, for solutions also, we can give the equation. If I have solutions, adsorption by adsorbent, which would be say charcoal, something like charcoal, which is a solid, okay? In solution, for example, I take acetic acid solution in water. Now acetic acid molecules which are present in the solution, I add charcoal. What will happen? The charcoal will absorbs acetic acid molecules on its surface. And what will be the result of that? The concentration of solution will decrease, which can be found experimentally. C, I am saying the concentration in mole per liter. C is the molar concentration of the solution. There will be decrease in this molar concentration, and he modified the Fredolic equation x by m is equal to k p 1 by n by using, instead of pressure, concentration 1 by n. So this equation becomes x by m is equal to k c power 1 by n for solutions. And experimentally he found and got the results like this. The graph looked like this. Instead of the pressure, what was there? Now the concentration. So if you plot x by m versus concentration, you are getting the same type of graph as was obtained in this case. And for solution we will use molar concentration, moles per liter. So this is the modified form of the Fredolic adsorption equation. And if instead of, you see that one more type of graph which we can make for both of them. If I take the logs of them, log of x by m is equal to log of k plus 1 by n log of p. So the log form of this is this. That means if I make a graph of this, is equation of a straight line, y is equal to c plus mx. Equation of a straight line, we already know equation of a straight line, students. That means if I make a graph if I make a graph of log of x by m versus log of p, students, what it will be? It will be a straight line. It will be a straight line. So what you are getting? It is a straight line. So when this is 0, this is my intercept. Intercept will be equal to what, students? According to this straight line, intercept will be equal to log of k. Intercept will be equal to log of k, and the slope of this, which is theta, the slope is equal to tan theta, which is equal to, students, 1 by n. 1 by n is my slope. So we can find the value of 1 by n by drawing a graph between log of x by m versus log of p. So the value of 1 by n can be determined experimentally, and you know that how to find the slope. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 is equal to 1 by n, which is my slope. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. So mathematically we can do this as it has been given. So sometimes these graphs are also very useful to find the value of the 1 by n, and experimentally they have been verified. The only problem is that it fails at very high pressure. So the failure of this at high pressure, and in order to improve this, and a better equation was given, a better mathematical relationship was given to account for the higher pressure by Langmuir. Langmuir gave another equation which better fits into the experimental results. What is that equation? Langmuir said that x by m can be represented by AP plus 1 by BP. So where A, B are constants and they depend on nature of adsorbate and temperature, and they can be determined experimentally, can be determined by experiments. Important points. Let me see what we are trying to say, students, here. Something very important result. So if I take x by m is equal to, let me say that at low pressure, what happens? BP is much smaller than 1, and I can write 1 plus BP is equal to 1. So x by m is equal to AP by 1 is equal to AP power 1. So here we got a linear relationship between x by m and p at low pressure. So it explains the graph which we have drawn. And at high pressure, what will happen? When pressure is very high, then BP is much larger than 1, and 1 by BP, students, is equal to BP, or in other words, x by m is equal to AP by BP, cancels A by B. So at high pressure, this equation explains that the extent of adsorption of the adsorbate on adsorbent is a constant. A and B are constant. So this explains the high pressure and low pressure, which is called the Langmuir equation. Another interesting thing is that if I have x by m is equal to AP 1 plus BP, if I take the reciprocal, this will become this 1 plus BP divided by AP. So the reciprocal m by x is equal to 1 by AP plus B by A, or in other words, I may write it like this: B by A plus 1 by A and 1 by P. This is Y, this is my C, this is mx. This is the equation of a straight line, students. Again, I can make a graph of this. And find the values of A and B. I make a graph of m by x versus 1 by p. When 1 by p is 0, then m by x is nothing but b by a. So the graph will look like something like this. This is my intercept. Intercept will be here C, which is B by A, students, and the slope of this, this is my theta. What will be the slope of this? Slope will be equal to 1 by A. So slope is 1 by A, and by this method we can calculate A and B values experimentally. Experimentally we can calculate these values, students. So therefore, the Fluidic adsorption isotherm and both the Langmuir isotherm which we have given are able to explain the extent of adsorption with pressure at constant temperature, and these are called the adsorption isotherms. And sometimes you see that if physisorption, you know that with increase in temperature the amount of physisorption decreases. Or a question was given in the exam once. What was that question? Something like this, that you are given x by m versus p. You are given different temperatures. These are the isotherms at temperature T1, T2, T3 for physisorption. So students, what do you know that as the temperature increases, the adsorption decreases. Therefore, we can say that T1 will be higher than T2 than T3. So highest temperature is this one because the adsorption is less. With increase in temperature, the physisorption decreases. Therefore, the correct order of the temperature is this for these adsorption isotherms which I have given at different temperatures. These are at different temperatures. T1, T2, that means T1 should be higher than T2, T2 should be higher than T3. According to the increase in temperature, the adsorption or physisorption decreases. Okay students, I stop my lesson here, and in my next lecture we will be talking of colloids and other parts of the solutions.